because I'm a unconscious caveman that cannot even get over his own jealousy in order to manifest a blossoming polyamorous relationship. But man, like this is gold right here. Hello there. It's been a while since I've done a video, a year to be exact. If you don't recall, my last video on this channel was titled Twin Flame is a Strange Way to Spell Trauma Bond. And I remember it was around Valentine's Day. It had a Valentine's Day background. And now we're bringing it back. Maybe I just do a video on every Valentine's Day and speak about fucked up relationship dynamics. Because today we're talking about polyamorous relationships and the smugness around it, really. Honestly, I wouldn't have so much fun talking shit about open relationships if they didn't basically always refer to me as some kind of slave owner because I'm loyal to my wife. like it's like we must see each other as property because we won't fuck anyone else, and that's the only explanation to it. We must have jealousy issues, and we have so much to learn from these evolved polyamorous couples that seem to have it all figured out. So, without further ado, let's pull out some of the notes that I found based on someone expressing themselves in a post about what us monogamous people with wedding rings, wedding bands, which means like I'm only faithful to my wife, which faithful means that I'm exclusive with my wife, meaning that like she doesn't have to worry about me running off with someone else. There used to be like a meaning to marriage, right? But anyway, as I said, if they weren't so smug about how spiritually evolved they were because they chose to be polyamorous, I wouldn't have as much fun with this, and I probably wouldn't be doing this video. Thank goodness they are smug, and then I get to have fun and do this video, basically. And I have a reason instead of, I guess, being a relationship style bully. So last week I came across this post on Instagram that stated 4 things monogamous couples can learn from polyamorous folks. Now, first and foremost, I must say that this post got it wrong because folks is not said with a K, it's said with an X. If you know, you know. If you're woke enough to know how to say folks, you know. And obviously this person is the Diet Coke of woke because they use K instead of an X. So number one, the number one thing, I don't know if this is in order. I don't know if this is a number one thing we can learn from polyamorous people as stupid monogamous people that we are. But the number one thing that we can learn from polyamorous people is the art of being direct, the art of communicating directly. Now, what was said here is in order to be successful, polyamorous relationships have to be direct. Okay, so you're saying that I don't have to be direct in a monogamous marriage. Like I don't have to be direct with my wife. Like it's not going to be detrimental to our relationship if I'm not direct with her. Because I thought that was kind of like a communication requirement. I thought I was under the impression, and maybe I'm just an idiot. Because maybe I'm just an idiot and maybe I've been studying the wrong books in relationship. Maybe I've been doing relationships the wrong way. But I thought the number one thing, like if I ask a question and I say, what's the number one thing that keeps relationships in general together? Anybody who is somewhat conscious of what relationship success means, many of them, I would say over 50%, maybe even 70, 80% of people would reply, if we polled people, and I might even do it after this, they would reply communication. Communication is a key to success for relationships in general, not poly, in general. So what I don't understand here is you're creating the straw man of monogamous relationships as automatically toxic. And polyamory relationships is all already healthy. Like, we've spiritually evolved to this point that we only know how to be direct. Silly me. I didn't realize that I had to be going out fucking other girls in order to learn how to be direct. Like, I didn't realize that I had to have some side hoes and like some secondaries or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I had to have a girlfriend along with my wife in order for me to learn the art of direct communication with my wife. I can't believe I've been doing this wrong this entire time. Thank you, oh holy Poly one, for writing this brilliant post, because now I get it. Now I see the light. I've been doing it wrong. I've been faithful to my wife for 6 years now, and I've been doing it wrong, and I just need to be direct to her and tell her that I'm going to the strip club tonight. That's what I need to do. All right, so sorry, Rebecca. I'm sorry, Rebecca. I got caught up in this post. You have to be comfortable setting boundaries. All right? You have to let your partner know how you're feeling and your own feelings without shame. Oftentimes, monogamous people expect their partner to be mind reader, or they rely so heavily on the room. I'd said mind reader singular because that's what it reads here. I'm not saying, I know it should have been mind readers, but that's what it said. And that's not me. I'm not dissing. I misspell things in posts too. I'm not fucking perfect. I'm just kind of being authentic here. Okay, but you still need to be direct, honest, and open-minded even when monogamous. Oh, really, Holy One? I didn't realize that. So like poly, being honest and faithful and having integrity is the standard for poly. But even if I'm in a shitty monogamous relationship, I need to be honest as well. Like, I just can't coast. I can't just fucking be like, thank you. I was getting confused about that at first. I was about to smash a beer can against my head because I'm a unconscious caveman that cannot even get over his own jealousy in order to manifest a blossoming polyamorous relationship. But man, like, this is gold right here. So number two, the reason what I can learn from these poly gods and goddesses and god they them's. I don't know what the non-binary term of a holy angel god is. I don't know. So 2, relying on multiple people to fulfill your needs. Okay. Don't motherfuckers have friends? In fact, I can't even front with this. I'm an introvert. I do not need people to fulfill my needs. I need people to leave me alone once in a while. Like, I need to be left alone in my own room. I don't have time to play pickleball with you. I don't have time to answer your calls. I need the alone time. So I don't really understand the desperate needs of multiple people. Like, I need multiple people in my life. Now, Rebecca is more like that. My wife, Rebecca, she's more like, and not even that much more. Like, she fronts and acts like she's more like an extrovert than me, which she is. But then when she lines up too many things, which she does over and over again, then she'll be like, oh my God, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. So she'd like you to think that she's more of an extrovert than I am, but she's not. But anyway, it's like, can I just have a friend? Granted, if I was like looking to get my needs met, and I do get needs met, like, I do feel good. There's a different feeling when we go on a double date. There's a different feeling when I talk to someone and have a social interaction. There's a charge that I get sometimes. So maybe I'm lying. Maybe I'm not a total introvert. Maybe I'm a switch. Maybe I'm just a little bit of a switch with introversion and extroversion and all that shit. Maybe that's the case. But I do feel energized from conversations. I love group fitness classes. I love hanging out with friends. I love going on double dates, things like that. Just not as much. Like, if I do a men's retreat for like 3 days or so, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to take the next 3 months alone in my cocoon. Thank you very much. But anyway, I just don't understand, why do you have to stick your dick in somebody in order to get multiple needs met? Like, is it worth the cost is my thing. It's like, I understand you're more evolved and you don't feel jealousy or whatever, or you move past the emotions of jealousy, but is it worth the cost of the letting multiple people into your union, in your sacred union? Is it worth the cost of making things more complex in the relationship when you could be focusing on other things like both of your purposes and your business and things of that nature? Like, my wife and I have so much going on. I don't understand why I would want to complicate things. Like, I understand the whole thing of like dating different people and like having different experiences. I just don't understand why it's worth the cost or worth the turmoil of really like breaching the security of having somebody in a marriage that you can depend on and that you've committed to, and then you've committed to other things in life, and building a family on top of that. It makes building a family even more complex. I don't understand why both people fucking multiple people and then having like a girlfriend or boyfriend in the kitchen or something. It's like, dude, like, you took my fucking toast and it's like, it sounds extremely frustrating. I'm like, there's so many ways you can rely on multiple people for your needs if that's your thing. Like, you don't have to be sleeping with all of them. For one, your partner isn't a need-fulfilling machine. They were not put on this planet just to cheer you up when you're sad or constantly cook for you. Wait, my wife isn't supposed to constantly cook for me? I thought... that's a stereotype because she doesn't constantly cook for me, but I know like people will get mad if I said that. By constantly cook for you, they have needs and a life of their own, damn it. Yeah, that's why you leave me alone every once in a while and I just do my own thing. Second, they may be an incredible partner in so many ways, but might not know how to respond to a particular situation. That is okay. This is why even when monogamous, you should have friends and family members who support you too. Yeah, but like, why am I learning from a polyamorous person to do this? I don't understand. Like, no shit. Why did I need this post? If you were directing this, because you were writing it to me, obviously it was all about me, because it was like, hey, idiot, hey, monogamous moron, this is how you do it. And I'm like, okay, so, but I get this, but why did I need to learn from a polyamorous person? Like, you went to a whole different route to figure out this information. You didn't know this information before you decide to open your relationship. Before you join a polyamorous community, you were totally blind to the information that maybe you should visit your dad or mom every once in a while, or maybe you should call a friend. I don't fucking get it. Like, how is this groundbreaking information the moment you decide to have gaggle fucks? I don't. This will also help alleviate some of the pressure you may inadvertently put on your partner. I just think like you could just discover that you're codependent and get to the root of the problem, because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like codependency. It sounds like a teenager writing this, like a teenage girl, and it's like, but I have so many boyfriends, I meet so many different needs, and I just don't know what I want. It sounds like it comes from an immature mind that doesn't know how to fully commit. So it's like, well, if I commit, I won't get all my needs met. So I just want to date many different people. Like, that's what it feels like to me. It doesn't come off as evolved to me. But maybe I'm too unevolved to understand how evolved you guys are. So I don't know. Let's go into number 3. Navigating jealousy. So being polyamorous will help you navigate jealousy because your partner will always be creeping. That's basically what that is, I guess. You know what? When I was a teenager, back to being a teenager, I had jealous issues. Part of my journey in personal development was to become more secure. I don't even understand when people talk about fucking attachment styles. Like they say they're anxious attachment or they are avoidant attachment and they own it. They wear it like on their chest. Like I understand assessing it and being like, oh, this is what I'm working on. Like I got like this ancient attachment, but like identifying with it as if it's an archetype, I don't understand. I'm a secure attachment. Maybe there's some tendencies of avoidant attachment or some shit, but when it comes down to it, I'm a secure attachment because I did the inner work to be a secure attachment. That's how I dealt with my jealousy issues, not asking a polyamorous person who constantly has somebody creeping on them and having these conversations and saying like, hey, I've been swiping on Tinder. I've seen these like fucking polyamorous skits and they were supposed to be funny, but they're like from a horror film. And that's not me being unevolved and having jealousy. Like a woman deserves a man who she can depend on and a stable fucking home. Like that's like saying, because I grew up with an alcoholic parent, right? That would be like saying what you could learn from me as a person who had an alcoholic parent is they teach you to create security when things are bad. Like when things are unpredictable, right? When they pops up, like something pops up and you have abandonment issues come up, that's what they're teaching you. Like that's what it feels like. It feels like this abusive thing. And then it's like, I'm supposed to gaslight myself for natural emotions that come up. Like, of course it's natural to feel jealous when you find out that a partner of yours was cheating on you. That's normal. It's not normal to be insecure and constantly accuse them of cheating. Like, thus far, I haven't seen anyone really truly surpass the normal human emotions of jealousy of the society we live in today, whether you think it's a social construct or not, or conditioning or not. I haven't seen anybody actually authentically move past that. It's they gaslight themselves and they say, oh, it's no big deal. Even though I feel shitty inside, let me suppress these emotions. So what I see with polyamory people is like, they'll criticize monogamous people, saying that they evolved past jealousy and basically our relationships are basically like owning property. We own our partners like property. Apparently, somehow we own each other like property instead of coming to an agreement and just being loyal to each other. It has to be something dark and twisted to them. And that's how in polyamory, there's usually a manipulator. Every time that I've seen it, it's a power struggle. There's a manipulator and then someone who's being manipulated. And the person being manipulated has to gaslight themselves and actually say they're wrong for feeling jealousy in these situations rather than owning the true feelings that are coming up. And that's how the abuser, the person who usually initiates the open relationship, the emotional abuser, let's not fucking mince words here. I mean it. Like, this is emotional abuse. And I'm not saying that it's always conscious on the person on the other end, but it is emotional abuse to pull somebody into a relationship style that you sold them on and you pushed. And often that's how it happens. Now, I feel a little bit better about both people choosing polyamory and then meeting in a polyamory group, but it gets really dicey when it's a monogamous marriage and then one person pushes the idea to open it or someone recruits someone into polyamory. That's where it gets really dicey. So navigating jealousy. Remember, jealousy is normal and natural, something you and your partner can work through together. There's this idea that polyamorous people are naturally less jealous than monogamous folks. Some are, but most of us are not. It's just that when you're polyamorous, you're forced to reckon with your jealousy more often because, unlike monogamy, your partner can have sex with and even date someone else. That sounds wonderful. Polyamorous people know that while jealousy is natural, it doesn't give you carte blanche to react however you please. Your feelings are valid, but that doesn't warrant unhinged behavior. Polyamorous people understand that jealousy is a source of information, so when you feel jealous, try to think about what your jealousy is trying to tell you. Your jealousy is trying to tell you that it ain't right. That's what it is. That's what your jealousy is trying to tell you. This is see, this right here, everything sounded like kind of reasonable at first, where it's like, okay, yeah, everyone feels jealousy, all that stuff. Then it gets to this point, and it's like, understand that jealousy is this source of information trying to teach you something. And it's like, in some cases, maybe, but if your partner, if your wife, your husband are seeing other people, it means that your body doesn't feel safe, because it's not safe. It's not safe for your wife or husband, the person who's supposed to commit to you for life, is playing the field and meeting new people to have an intimate relationship with, and ruining the sacredness that you have with that other person. Because how is it sacred if your wife or your husband's willing to give that to more people or anybody sometimes? It's not sacred, and it's not a commitment, and it's not a surefire way of saying like, hey, this person is going to stick with me forever, because they're always playing the field. There's always going to be, like, regardless of how evolved poly people try to say that they're above hierarchies and things like that, there's really a hierarchical structure in a lot of these poly relationships, where there's a primary and then there's someone in the like ready to take that spot. Like, for instance, especially women, let's be fucking honest here. If a man is married to a woman, has a wife, and then gets girlfriends, side girls, whatever you call them in polyamory, and has like 3 different girlfriends aside from the wife, you don't think those 3 different girlfriends are plotting for the wife position? It's women. Women want to be in that wife position. You really convince yourself that they're not like trying to take that spot? It's human nature. It's like football. When in cases where there's a franchise quarterback on teams and they draft a new guy, you don't think that new guy is trying to get in the starting position? Of course they are. Like, you can't pretend that's not there. That's why the jealousy comes up. It's not something deeper to find. It's an alarm system that is legitimate. It's your gut speaking. It's your fucking gut speaking and telling you that you're not safe because you aren't. Now, I fully understand, like, even being in a marriage with my wife, I think it's crucial for us to realize, like, hey, I'd be sad if something happened. I'd be devastated if something happened to our marriage. But I know that overall I'm safe, regardless of what happened. Like, if we lost everything and whatnot, it's good to be able to be the source of your safety. Another thing in monogamy is like you want to continue developing yourself, but there's that comfort in the vows, right? Through sickness and health, through rich or poor, I'm going to be by your side. That's what love is. That's what true love is. And if I'm playing the field, if the wife is playing the field, that doesn't exist. It's an illusion. Because as soon as things get hard, it might be the best decision to have your primary as a primary in that moment. But if your values are so skewed to the point where you must be in a polyamorous relationship to get all of your needs met, which means all sexual and intimate needs with different people, and if that's so important that you're willing to sacrifice the sacredness of a monogamous relationship for that, what's to say that someone in an open relationship won't leave for the next partner as soon as things go south? Seriously, like, if things are feeling good with the secondary person or the sideline hoe or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but things are a little rocky with the wife, who's to say that you just say, hey, I'm going to move on from the wife and promote the other woman? Why not? Like, it doesn't feel like there's a moral standard here. It's like, because you can just justify it with polyamory mindset. You can say like, well, in polyamory being my identity, I just realize that in order to get my true needs met, that I need to promote my sideline hoe to the wife and get rid of my wife because that's what I feel like my soul is speaking. And since polyamory is my identity, you can't question it because it's my identity to be able to evolve in my relationships like that. And if my wife's jealous about that, that just means she has something to work through. You see how that works? It's bullshit. That's what it is. It's bullshit. Like, I'm sorry. Maybe you shouldn't have mentioned monogamous people because then I wouldn't have read this. I don't know. Polyamorous people understand that jealousy is the source of information. So when you feel jealous, try to think about what your jealousy is trying to tell you. Are you worried that your partner will leave you for someone else, like your ex-husband did? Are you insecure because you don't feel sexy and beautiful? Yeah, you probably should be concerned that the polyamorous person may leave you because there's a huge lack of masculine energy. There's a huge lack of structure in the relationship. So why not? It's a fluid relationship. Why the fuck not would they walk out on you and then try to convince you that it's okay that they're walking out on you? Why not? Of course, your body is telling you that there's something wrong. And then 4, the polyamorous gurus can teach us about time management skills. What was I thinking by trying to improve my time management skills the old-fashioned way when I could have just asked a polyamorous person who has a scheduled dates with their multiple boyfriends or multiple girlfriends on how to manage my time in my business? You know, why would I ask a parent or a grandparent or someone with a large family who has to take their kids to soccer games and run a business or run multiple businesses? Why not ask somebody with a roster of hoes? That will teach me how to do time management skills. So this says poly people are masters at time management. The greatest masters, by the way. When you have a husband, girlfriend, and third partner you're trying to see weekly, you literally have to be. Otherwise, you'll end up canceling on one partner to see another. Are you telling me that doesn't often happen? Because I guarantee it fucking happens a lot in polyamorous relationships. And you know what? That's one, if a poly person is watching this, you know deep inside if I'm right or not. But I'm going to take a bet and say it happens. It happens a little more often than you would like. Otherwise, you'll end up canceling on one partner to see another. And that can cause feelings to get hurt. Poly people often share a Google Calendar with their partners. Google Calendar. Sorry, husband. I got Mauricio rubbing lotion on me at 2 p.m. I can't watch Netflix with you this afternoon, but perhaps tonight after I get well fucked by my boyfriend. That's a great thing to do when you're monogamous. Even if your schedule isn't hectic as a poly person's, it still makes life easier for both you and your partner. Yes, that sounds like heaven. I would just love to have other guys plugged into my Google Calendar to know when I can communicate with my wife or watch a movie with her. Like, that sounds amazing. I don't understand why I have the setup I have now when I could have a village of men in my Google Calendar. That wouldn't make things complicated as we run the business together either. I'm sure things would go perfectly smooth of having the business calendar, our personal calendar, and then other men and women, like, we gotta make this a fair, open relationship here. Other men and women scheduling their dates with us in the fucking calendar. Sounds great. It sounds like it would definitely improve my time management skills. Why didn't I read this earlier? Okay, so he's a sex expert. I'm not going to say his name. I mean, I could. So LGBTQ boy slut. Buy his book, Boy Slut. Okay, fine. It's Zachary Zane. His name's Zachary Zane. It's a public post. I don't have to be like fucking anonymous here. He has a new book out. I'm promoting his book. It's called Boy Slut, a memoir and manifesto. So how you can be a boy slut as well. He currently has 2 columns to explain it at Men's Health and Navigating Monogamy at Cosmo. Yeah, because Cosmo always gives the best dating advice. He is also the founder and editor-in-chief of Boy Slut Zine, which publishes real sex stories from kinksters. And there's also a footnote here in the caption that states a caveat that basically what I would describe it as is throwing a stone and then hiding your hands, which a lot of poly people do. They like to play victim, where it's like, why are you criticizing my identity and my relationship? But like then 2 days before, they went and said that monogamous relationship is basically like slavery, and it's just like owning property, and we don't. It's like this whole post was shitting on monogamy and how they've learned something we don't know. But then there's this caveat here that says, I've seen a number of polyamorous folks disparage and belittle monogamous couples, and if you've read my work, you know that's just not me. I'm always one of the encouraging people to do what's right for them, and I absolutely have no qualm with monogamous folks, assuming two things. Now, before we get to there, if you don't have a qualm with monogamous folks, why did you even have to make it teaching monogamous people? Like, why did you have to position polyamory as like the higher, more evolved people that figured it out if it wasn't about monogamous people? Like, why can't you just flat out respect monogamous people? Or do you have feelings that you're not fully owning, which you're probably used to that because, you know, like we know like the whole honesty thing. It's like, yeah, you might have learned to be honest about sneaking around on your partner or openly crawling around on your partner, or whatever you would want to call it because I guess it's not sneaking around if you let your partner know. You may be honest about that, but you're not being honest with yourself, and you're not being honest how you're emotionally fucking over another person in this relationship dynamic. So yes, direct and honesty about fucking other people, but not so direct and honest about honoring your spouse. One, they've actively chosen monogamy because they feel it's the right relationship style for them. They're not simply falling into it because of the societal norm and standards. So another thing, it's like, I have to consciously know that I went into monogamy and not be some kind of fucking idiot that just followed the social norm because, you know, it's so mainstream. Two, they're accepting and supportive of others being non-monogamous. Still, I think what do we have here? Still, I think there are quite a few things that monogamous people can learn from poly people and the tenets of ethical non-monogamy. That's another thing. Ethical. Why would you have to call it ethical non-monogamy? Like, that's a red flag in itself, having to label something ethical. That's like ethical cheating, or, hey, I'm an ethical monogamy. Got to make sure you know that we're ethical. It's like you're already like telling on yourself in that moment. I think these lessons can help make monogamous people's relationships healthier, happier, and more fulfilling. Check out what I wrote at Fun Factory. Look, this is ridiculous. Because it's like you're saying like to help monogamous people be more direct. You're saying to help monogamous be more happy and healthy. The person I saw share this post got into polyamory because in monogamous relationships, they were a cheater. They cheated. So what the fuck do you mean? Like, you can't fucking fail at monogamy, which a lot of polyamorous people did. They failed at monogamy. Then they did decide to embrace a more complex relationship style, either to like distract themselves or, you know, like to make them feel more evolved, even though they didn't address the root issues that made them screw people over in monogamous relationships. Because that's a lot of people's journey to polyamory. If you ask a lot of people, they're like, hey, I was having affairs and then I decided I needed to open my relationship. It's like that's often the story there. So how do you have the audacity? How do you have the fucking audacity to share this? To go hell yeah to this? If you're a person who screwed somebody over in a monogamous marriage or relationship, how the fuck do you have the audacity to go and be like, yeah, there's something you can learn from us? Like the balls to say that. Like if I was one of these women, or men for that matter, like let's include both men and women. If I were one of these men or women who had a wife or husband that cheated on me, then they went polyamorous and then started like dating multiple people, and then wrote this post, liked or shared this post as a like, haha, we got something to teach you, I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Motherfucker, you cheated on me. And now you're telling me how to properly do monogamy? Are you fucking kidding me? So that's what I gotta say there. It's like, to me, I feel like this polyamory stuff, it's like a distraction, and I don't like being an absolutist. I've tried not to be an absolutist, and I try not to shit on everything that is poly. But if I was honest with myself, I haven't seen a polyamory relationship thus far where I'm like, yeah, this is a healthy dynamic. This is healthy. And, you know, take it or leave it of how I say it. I'm confident in my ability to spot a toxic relationship. I'm not just some regular Joe Schmo. I understand human psychology. I understand the things that create a toxic relationship. I'm very confident in what I read from monogamous relationships and polyamorous relationships and things of that nature. And I have not yet witnessed, and to be fair, I don't know a ton of polyamory relationships, but I'm seeing more and more in Austin, Texas. But I have not witnessed where I'm like, this is a healthy dynamic. And usually when I see one, I'm like, oh, this person's getting the short end of the stick and they're being emotionally abused. Usually there's a big power imbalance, and someone's getting the short end of the stick, and someone's getting fucked over, and someone's getting emotionally abused to a level that, you know, is pretty incredible in a bad way of how bad the emotional abuse is. Like, it's to the point where it's like, wow, they're really in deep, because I do not understand how they can't see it. But I can kind of understand, because there's a lot of grooming. Like, there's a lot of grooming involved to recruit people to polyamory, and there's a lot of manipulation and mind fucks to get yourself out of, to make yourself, to make your way out of that situation. So yeah, it's just, if I'm honest with myself, if I'm fully honest with you, I've been cheated on in a monogamous relationship. I would rather have that experience. And I would say the most painful experience of being cheated on was being a mature person saying, hey, if you don't want to be in a relationship with me, or if you have something going on, because I can sense something going on, if you don't want to be in a relationship with me, let's just move on. And then having that person straight up say in your face, like, oh no, I love you, and I'll stop seeing that person. And then the cheating going on longer because you gave that person another chance. Like that, the lying part of that, when you're open and willing to just come out in the open about everything, and you're willing to leave in a mature way if there is an affair going on, but that partner continues to lie to you. That's that lying part, that deceiving part, the gaslighting is a worst part of cheating. But I can only imagine how bad the gaslighting is, because like logically sometimes it's explained in polyamory like, no, it's not cheating because I'm telling you who I'm seeing, but you don't know what happened before then, right? You don't understand, like, the wife that is seeing other people, that the husband cried his fucking eyes out because he's losing his wife, and he has to conform to this polyamorous relationship, this open relationship or open marriage that she wants to evolve the relationship into. So he just has to get over his jealousy so she can sleep around, or the other way around, where the man decides like, hey, I realize my identity is polyamorous, or I'm in an open marriage, and she's crying her eyes out and have to go through all this emotional stuff and then stuff those real feelings down and gaslight herself in order to agree to the standard of the open relationships. Look, it takes two to tango in these situations. I'm not saying the person who is on the shitty end of the power imbalance is the total victim that's not playing a part in it and can't play a part in their own saving. But I am saying that it's fucking brutal. And I would rather be cheated on in a monogamous relationship than be tricked into an open relationship, especially someone that I've established a monogamous relationship before that, and be tricked into an open relationship and gaslight myself into being okay with the person seeing other people. So I think it's a really dark thing. And I think once like more and more people start catching up to the scam that a lot of polyamory situations are, I honestly think there's going to be a documentary that we can all enjoy, just like that twin flame documentary that came out. This isn't like a twin flame fucking background, but like love is in the air, baby. And sometimes love is like really fucked up. But here I am to speak out on all the fucked up things that go on and how people get manipulated. So thank you for tuning in. It's great to be back here on video doing episodes on this channel. Make sure you subscribe. I'm going to be doing videos more often on this channel. This is just the new beginning. So, hey, I just want to thank you for being here. Until next time.